Welcome to our sailboat Tigerlily. This is Colby, I'm Mariah, and these are our two cats, Namiria and Took. We're headed to California to prep for our adventures in Mexico. We hope you follow along and enjoy.
Good morning. Boy, do I look like shit. It is 3:30 a.m. We just started the engine to kind of get it warmed up because we are leaving Newport on our way to Coos Bay. Leaving so early because of two reasons. First of all, the tide. If we left at like 6 a.m., it'd be too low. We won't be able to get out of here. And second, it's a 14-hour drive to Coos Bay, and I don't like arriving at new marinas and whatnot at night when I don't know them that well. So leaving now, we should get there at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon to Coos Bay, where we'll spend a night, and then on down to Crescent City. Hopefully you can see me okay in this. I don't think you will. But we are, what are we? 6:13, so we passed through the bar about an hour ago and found out the reason why people hate the bars off the coast of Oregon. It is definitely not the worst it could have been, but it was not the best either. It was funny because we were heading out and it was nice for like most half of getting out to the jetty, and then all of a sudden just that first wave just hit, and after that it was, I mean, we took one over the bow and kind of buried itself a little bit, and we went through it, and then as soon as we got out of the bar, the waves were pretty big, coming from offshore, so like we need to turn south. And when you're turning south and waves that big, if you're taking them to the beam, not so great. And I think the reason they were that big is because we're still close enough to the bar, so I had to basically head straight out to sea for a mile or two till they calmed down a little bit before I could turn the boat southwards and go. And the waves are still, it's still kind of big. Maybe I can get you a video, but like, it's weird when the waves kind of like block the horizon from view, kind of like that. So we were in bigger ones earlier. It's calmed down a bit since the further south we head, so it's okay. And of course, I feel bad for Mariah. I feel like no matter how much Dramamine or what wristbands you use, when going through shit like that, it's hard not to get seasick. But on our way to Coos Bay, making some good time so far. I'll update you a little bit later. I should mention, because I don't think we really videoed much when we were there, and the reason why, sorry, driving, watching for waves, and doing this at the same time. The reason why is because we didn't really do anything. The marina wasn't that nice. And when I say that, it doesn't take much to make us happy, but we had an incident, and maybe in the video, maybe Mariah can put in a picture of what happened, because I did not get any of it on video. It's not marked, and they didn't tell us when we pulled in, but when we pulled into the marina, it was around high tide-ish, and we pulled into an end slip and went and paid our dues and showed them where we docked, and like, okay, it's good. And so we stayed there, and then, you know, 6 o'clock the next morning, I get up, the boat's leaning heavily to starboard. And I, you know, first thing you check is bilge. The bilge, you know, water, bilge is dry. Okay, let's get out on deck and see what happens. So I get out on deck and get on the dock, and the boat is, aground. it's sitting on the bottom, the props out of the water. It just, and normally sailboats are made to be able to sit on their keels, and this one is definitely strong enough to do so. But my worry is that on these Tigerlilies, the 1978s, or at least on many of them, I don't know if all of them, but I'm pretty sure most of them, the fuel tank is in the aft part of the keel, and it's a fin keel. So you can put the weight of the boat on the lead part, that's fine. But if any weight gets put on the fuel tank, I mean, that's just a tank, right? Too much weight, that thing's gonna crumble. So we were worried about having a crack in the keel from the weight and everything, and spilling a bunch of diesel. And around 10 o'clock that morning, we were afloat again. The tide came back in. Yeah, all we could do is wait and check the fuel tanks, let it sit with the cap open for a while. I have an access in there that's just over the fuel tank. Nothing was pouring out, you know, it all seemed okay. So buttoned it back up, waited till the tide came in a little bit more, went and talked to Marina, told them what happened. They were kind of smug about it, like, oh, well, they said, oh, well, I usually tell all the sailboaters that it's shallow there. I was like, well, you didn't tell me, and it's not posted. And then, of course, I do the research or look in the research afterwards, and lo and behold, right there in Navionics, when you click on the marina, it says, careful of the guest dock end tie because it's shallow, they don't dredge. Whatever. I mean, I feel at fault because I am the captain of this vessel, and it is my duty to make sure that it's safe. And I had the assumptions that marinas were just safe because they had all that stuff already figured out. Learned my lesson on that one, and I should have read the Navionics charts, the icon beforehand. Anyway, and the other reason we didn't film much in Newport is because my work as a marine electronics technician, I've been in Newport a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean there's times where I was coming down 3 or 4 times a month from Seattle. I know the drive very well, back and forth. And you know, Newport's, it's a pretty town. I highly suggest checking it out. It's cool. But since I've been there so long, and since I've been there so many times, and we had the boat issues of being aground, we just didn't go anywhere. Well, it is currently 10:30, and conditions picked back up again. It's not great. This is not a fun ride. A lot of times when driving the boat, you can just point it on a course, and yeah, you have some waves and you have to adjust a little bit, but you just keep on that course. This is not the case. This is fighting the waves, keeping an eye out for the big ones, and trying to get the angle of the boat right to it. Our original destination was going to be Coos Bay, but I'm going to call it and go to Reedsport instead. 2 reasons. First of all, Reedsport's closer. It's 10:30. By all means, if we keep this speed, we should get there by 3 o'clock. Second reason, if we went all the way to Charleston, or to Coos Bay, we'd get there by 6, okay, not that much later. Except 6 o'clock is a flood tide, and 3 o'clock in Reedsport is a slack tide. So, going into Reedsport, I think, will be safer going through the bar. We discussed trying to going into the Siuslaw River, Florence here, because we're right next to that right now. But the thing about it is, the bar is not the best condition. We could probably make it through, but it's not the best condition. And secondly, I don't even know where we would. Is there a marina to pull into? Is there anything like that? So anyway, Reedsport, we're gonna try and make it. I called them, they have a slip open for us, and we're gonna wait out the weather because this is I don't want to be doing this again.
Oh, I don't even, the camera is not gonna do this justice at all. How scary this is. Again, the forecast, wrong. This is a little scary. These waves are huge. I doubt the camera is gonna be able to see how big these waves are, but that's not fun. This is not fun.
We made it safely to the dock in Florence. The cats are mighty happy to be out of the boat and checking stuff out. Nims is somewhere up there. We're kind of docked right. That's not Moe's. I'm not sure what that is, but there's a Moe's restaurant behind that, which is an Oregon seafood restaurant, famous restaurant. But yeah, we're docked here, so now I gotta go to the marine office and check in and do all that stuff and pay money. And then there are a few, there's a bakery and an ice cream shop that Mariah wants to check out. I'm just glad to be in a safe harbor away from the, it doesn't even feel real. The stuff I was into today, stuff we were into today, this morning, it almost feels like a bad dream, like it didn't really happen, but it did. I'm in a surprisingly good mood considering we just went through that. So, but yeah, at the dock, she's looking like a little boy.
Thanks.
And yeah, we are going to go check in.
Town of Florence, Oregon.
Yep.
We pulled in here kind of on a whim because we needed to get out of the weather. You know that.
Mm-hmm. And before you say anything, I know it looks nice out here, but it's still saying the weather out there is real crappy.
Yeah, the weather in here when we got in here was so nice yesterday too.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so we're here. It actually turns out that this is a really cute town. We went to a bakery yesterday, naturally. Yeah. We're us. And now we're at this really cute little coffee
Old Town
place.
Coffee Company.
So let's see what this is about. And then we're gonna go walk around Main Street. Smile.